Hey, happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is the middle of the week. Beautiful day here in San Diego. Hope it's going well wherever you are. And this is In the Raw, unscripted, unpracticed, unedited conversation. And I'd like to talk the next few videos about the topic of refocus. Been thinking about this, and sometimes we need to refocus. And so the question is, what happens when we lose focus? What do we need to do to refocus? It happens to all of us at some point. It's normal. We lose focus on different things. But what happens when we find ourselves out of focus from God? Sometimes we don't realize what happened to us. And, when we least expect it, we feel far from God. Has this ever happened to you? I'm sure it has, because it's happened to me. If you have a relationship with God, it's bound to happen. So what do we need to do to refocus? Well, this reminds me of a movie which is starred by one of my favorite actors, Tom Hanks. He has an extensive acting career. And what impresses me most about him is that he has played roles from different eras, different backgrounds, even different genres. He's won all the prestigious awards and recognitions for his work. And everything he does in film succeeds. So in 1995, he starred in a movie called Apollo 13. And it's about a mission to the moon in the 1960s. Apollo 13 was one of those missions, and it's known as the most successful failure. And so on the way to the moon, an explosion occurs, the ship's oxygen tanks, and it puts their lives of the three astronauts on board at risk. So they find themselves desperate, needing to return to Earth. And in order to survive the return trip, they have to cut off all the electric power to the ship, and they're left without navigation systems, without light and without heating. And they're lost in the dark and the cold. So this ship is on its way to the Earth when they realize that it's going off course. And if they continue on that course, they will miss the Earth and will be lost forever in space. So NASA engineers think of a plan to put them back on course. And it consists of turning on the engines for a few seconds. And the pilot, which is played by Tom Hanks, will have to manually align the spacecraft, focusing on our planet Earth, as a point of reference, which looks very small through the window. They make their calculations and they execute the plan. It's a moment in the movie where you don't know what's going to happen, a moment of suspense. The ship is moving in all directions and they only have seconds to do this. And the pilot has only a small square in the window to focus on the Earth. It seems that the cause is lost until suddenly they manage to recover and are back on course. How many of us have had something like this happen? Maybe decisions we've made have led us to a valley of discouragement and depression, or we feel lost without purpose. We can't find our place in life. All of this makes us lose our focus on God, and it seems like there's no hope. And we live in times that make it easy for us to give up. We get discouraged by the circumstances of our lives, and we prefer not to fight. And so we just give up. We just say, that's it, I give up. We lose focus. That's probably happened to you. You are not alone. This happens to many people. It doesn't matter how strong or stable you are. It can happen to you. But there's good news. In Jesus, there's always good news. There's a story of a man of God who lost his focus. His name was Elijah. The prophet Elijah is known as the boldest of all the prophets. He was not afraid of anything, yet it happened to him, and he lost focus. So the story is in 1 Kings chapter 19. I'll give you a little bit of context. Elijah confronts King Ahab because he he's allowed to be influenced by his wife, Jezebel, to build altars to false gods, and to kill God's prophets. And this was confusing the people of Israel. After a series of events, Elijah returns and challenges 850 false prophets on Mount Carmel through a supernatural display of God's power. This is all found in 1 Kings 18 if you want to go back and read. Elijah then kills the 850 prophets and exhorts the people to follow God. But what happens next seems strange to me. And it says in 1 Kings 19, when Ahab got home, he told Jezebel everything Elijah had done, including the way he had killed all the prophets of Baal. So Jezebel sent this message to Elijah: may the gods strike me and even kill me if by this time tomorrow I've not killed you as you killed them. Elijah was afraid and fled for his life. He went to Beersheba, a town in Judah, and he left his servant there. Then he went on alone into the wilderness. It's strange to me that he fled because, as I said, Elijah was known as one of the boldest prophets who ever lived. And it's interesting that the same prophet who boldly calls the whole nation of Israel to follow God wholeheartedly in chapter 18 is now running for his life in chapter 19. So what happened? We're going to be talking about this in the next few videos. What happens when you lose focus? What happens how do you come back and refocus? All right, well, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, and we will talk to you soon and continue this. Take care.